Discover the hidden lives, amazing transformations amidst 100 years of hashish and poverty in California. Maria gripped the edges of her worn dining table, her heart racing as the morning sun poured through the grimy window. The fading town of Del Norte creaked around her like an old ship, burdened with secrets and sins. The whispers of judgment from neighbors seeped into the walls, thick and suffocating. A restless wind rustled the tattered curtains, mirroring the turbulence in her chest. She took a deep breath, wiping away the worry lines etched on her brow. Today, she thought, would be different. Today, she would fight back against the shadows of her family's past. Each morning, the cycle of exhaustion began anew. She rushed through breakfast for her kids, Lily and Alex, who clung to her like sunflowers to the light. They deserved more than the dim corners of this town, where dreams dwindled into dust. Maria dashed off to the diner, her heart heavy with the weight of 3 jobs and the constant fear of losing her children. Would they see their mother as a warrior or merely as another victim of their dire surroundings? After hours of serving greasy fries and coffee to indifferent patrons, Maria returned home to a cluttered but warm sanctuary. It was their refuge from the town's stigma, a cramped little house where laughter fought against the overwhelming despair lurking outside. Yet, the frail structure often felt like a cage. The threat of social services loomed over her like a storm cloud, a reminder of how close she was to losing everything. One hot afternoon, she stumbled upon Sam, an elderly war veteran with skin weathered like old leather. Over the weeks, Sam became more than just a neighbor. He was the lantern that illuminated her darkest fears. His tales of resilience and strength wrapped around Maria like a warm blanket, reminding her that love could withstand the harshest battles. "Maria," he said one day, his eyes twinkling with wisdom. "Your past doesn't define you. You have strength. Get it out, paint your truth." The thought ignited a dormant fire within her. Could she really express the rawness of her life through art, or would it just be more fuel for the judgmental whispers? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. That evening, as darkness blanketed the town, Maria ventured into Sam's garage. The old easel lay waiting, dusty yet full of promise. With every stroke of paint, she poured her heart onto the canvas, the weight of her family's history, the pain of their choices, and the hope for her children. It felt like shedding chains. The colors came alive, vibrant with her resilience. She envisioned this art shining against the town's faded stories, a beacon of hope. As the deadline for the community exhibition neared, Maria wrestled with trepidation. What if they only saw her as a statistic, not the fighter she aimed to be? Yet with every brushstroke, she deepened her commitment to her children. Today was not just a day of fear, it was a battle cry for a future they all deserved. In that moment, her phone rang, shattering the silence. It was social services, their intentions unclear. Maria's heart raced. Had she finally cultivated enough courage to face her fears, or had the shadows of her past returned to claim her? The path ahead shimmered with uncertainty, but one thing was clear: she would fight, fueled by love and resolve, for the future of her family. Maria stared at her phone, the cold tremor of anxiety gripping her heart. The voice on the other end was clipped and official. "Ms. Rojas, we need to discuss the well-being of your children." Every word felt like a thunderclap, echoing through her mind. She gripped the table tighter, knuckles turning white, her art briefly forgotten. "Is this a good time?" The voice pressed, almost too polite for the urgency seeping from the tone. "No. I mean, yes. Of course. What do you need?" Her voice wavered, betraying her inner turmoil. "Due to recent reports about your home environment, we would like to schedule a visit." "Reports?" Panic clawed at her throat, thoughts racing, the shadow of her past creeping back in. She thought of the peeling walls, of the days spent buried under the weight of 3 jobs. I know nothing about any reports. The words slipped out, barely containing the fury rising in her chest. Listen, Ms. Rojas, the voice softened now, I understand this is difficult, but our priority is the children's safety. Please, let us work together. Another swallow beat hard against her chest. She could feel the weight of every judgmental glance from the neighbors. I'm doing everything I can for them. Understood. I'll send over the paperwork for your review. We'll talk soon. As the call ended, Maria sank into a chair, shaking. She looked around her home, a beautiful mess of art supplies and scattered toys. Everything she fought for glimmered in the dim light. But the shadows of doubt remained heavy. Had her efforts painting the truth made her more vulnerable, or was this the breakthrough she needed? Sam shuffled into the room, sensing her distress. Everything all right? They're coming social services. They say someone reported me. Her voice cracked, a mix of dread and disbelief. He sat down opposite her, his brow furrowing. Did you do anything wrong, Maria? No. She burst out. It doesn't matter if I did or didn't, it just matters what they think. There was a moment of silence, heavy with understanding. Then you need to show them the truth, Sam encouraged softly. Show them how your spirit shines, how your love for those kids is your fortress. Her mind raced, the weight of her worries dissolving slightly under his warm gaze. Could she do that? Use her art not just for herself but for her children? That night, she poured all of her anxiety and hope into the canvas, her brush quick and resolute. With each stroke, she depicted a world where her children thrived, a garden full of sunflowers, tall and defiant, surrounding a vibrant little house filled with laughter. Lily and Alex walked in, staring wide-eyed. Mom, what are you doing? Creating our future, she replied, her voice steady. The kids joined her, dipping their fingers into the colors, laughter mixing with splatters of paint and hope. For a moment, they became a whirlwind of joy and creativity, turning the oppressive shadows into flickers of light. When the exhibition day arrived, Maria felt the weight of her heart pounding against her chest. As she stood outside the gallery, a crowd began to gather, gradually swallowing her nerves. The moment was approaching. Expose herself to the world, to the judgment, and to the uncertainty. As she stepped inside, the mixture of excitement and fear washed over her like a tide. A deep breath steadied her resolve. Each painting shone as a reflection of her courage, but wouldn't it be enough to sway the onlookers and the scrutinizing gaze of social services? As she scanned the room filled with watchers, her heart dropped. Among them stood a familiar figure, the social worker, a face thick with authority and uncertainty. Maria's breath caught. Could she really show her truth, or would it all fall apart? Her heart raced, the moment of truth looming ahead. Maria took a step forward, her heart thumping like a drum. The paintings loomed large around her, each one a testament to her struggles, her dreams, her love for her kids. The vibrant colors danced under the gallery lights, almost mocking her as the invisible weight of the social worker's gaze pressed down on her. Come on, Maria, she whispered to herself, rallying her courage. You can do this. She approached the first canvas, an explosion of reds and yellows, capturing the essence of family. It showed her children laughing, joy spilling from their faces, moments that felt distant and fragile. The social worker, Samantha, watched, her eyes scanning the work with the scrutiny of someone used to finding flaws. Is this what you want them to see? A voice broke through her inner turmoil. Sam stood just behind her shoulder, supportive yet tentative. Because this is your truth. Maria nodded, forcing herself to breathe deeply. It's my truth, she repeated softly, more to convince herself than anyone else. An art critic brushed past, stopping to admire the piece, and for a moment, the pressure eased. Such energy. You've captured a sense of hope here. Maria felt a flicker of relief but quickly swallowed it down. Would their compliments make any difference to the social worker? Each painting told a story, from the struggles of loss to the triumphs of small victories. As she moved through the gallery, she caught snippets of conversation from the crowd, words of admiration, questions about inspiration. Yet, in the back of her mind, Samantha's presence loomed, a reminder of the unwanted scrutiny. "Your work is beautiful," a fellow artist said, pulling her away from her thoughts. "It has this rawness, like you're not afraid to show your scars." Maria managed a small smile. "Thank you." But the compliment felt heavy. Scars made her vulnerable. They had brought her here. Finally, Maria arrived at the canvas she'd painted the night before. It was awash in greens and blues, a heartfelt portrayal of their house surrounded by towering sunflowers, each bloom a symbol of resilience. It represented her dreams for her family, a fierce refusal to let life's troubles extinguish their spirit. "Look at that one!" Sam exclaimed, pointing. "It's magical." But his voice twisted with uncertainty. "I hope so," Maria murmured, uncertainty nipping at her. Would Samantha see the magic? Did she care about the life behind the art? As if reading her mind, Samantha approached. Her expression softened slightly. "This piece is quite striking," she said as she examined the vibrant sunflowers. "It seems genuine." Maria's heart raced. "It is. It's how I see my children. I want them to grow, to thrive, despite our circumstances." Samantha looked at her, the moment stretching between them, a spotlight in the crowded room. "Art can show so much truth," she said slowly. "But it's not just about beauty on a canvas, it's about what's behind it, doesn't it?" "Yes." Maria felt the connection, a bridge between their worlds. "It's rooted in love and resilience." Samantha's critical demeanor softened just enough for Maria to feel a thread of hope. "I'll need to speak with you about your children. But first, do you really think this art could help?" Maria hesitated, her pulse quickening again as she realized the stakes. "I need it to." Suddenly, she caught a glimpse of Lily and Alex outside the gallery, peeking in through the glass, their smiles bright against the somber background of the evening. She felt a surge of energy, hope mixing with fear. "More than anything," Maria finally said, her voice steady. As Samantha nodded, the moment began to unravel some of the fear, but another wave of anxiety rolled in. What would happen next? Would her art be enough to protect her family, to show the world her truth? With the social worker's eyes on her, Maria stood before the canvas, her emotions swirling like the colors around her. The truth of who she was, and who she wanted to be, hung in the balance like a fragile thread, and she held it tight. Would it snap? As the crowd continued to mill around her, Maria felt more than just the gaze of one woman on her. She felt the weight of judgment and hope mingling together into a single, overwhelming moment. In the depths of her heart, a question echoed louder than all the others. Was her art truly enough to transform the narrative surrounding her family, or was she merely painting illusions? Maria felt a pit in her stomach as the crowd buzzed around her. Hope and dread warred within her. She was being watched, analyzed. The gallery was meant to be a place of celebration, but right now it felt like a courtroom. Samantha shifted her gaze to the bright sunflowers again. "These flowers, they remind me of another artist I once met. He spoke about how art can bring healing." That resonated with Maria. She had painted these pieces not just for display but as expressions of love and survival. She wanted them to breathe life into her fears, to bridge gaps between her past and future. "Can you tell me more?" Maria asked, desperate to anchor the conversation. She needed to show Samantha that this was more than just paint on a canvas. The artist created portraits of his struggles and family, much like you. They were not just pretty pictures, they laid bare the core of his experience. Samantha paused, her gaze finally meeting Maria's. Perhaps art really can spiral beyond itself to forge connections. Maria felt a small thrill at those words. Could her paintings do the same? Could they untangle her truth and resonate with others? "I hope so," she whispered again, this time allowing the flame of hope to flicker a little brighter. Meanwhile, Sam returned with 2 glasses of sparkling water, breaking the tension just enough. "Hey, this event could use a bit of brightness. Want to toast our talented artist here?" He smiled, and it warmed her insides. Absolutely. Maria replied, forcing a laugh that felt strained but joyful all the same. They clinked glasses, and she could sense the crowd shifting slightly as curious looks turned their way. Look at her paintings. A woman nearby exclaimed. These feel so personal. Maria's cheeks flushed. The validation was sweet, but with each compliment, the social worker's presence felt heavier. Did they see the mess behind the beauty, or did her vulnerability remain hidden beneath the brush strokes? As more people gathered, the conversations became an ensemble of exclamations and questions. What inspires you? An older gentleman asked, peering deep into her artwork. There's a story here. A life, Maria replied, hardly recognizing her own voice. A fight to make things better for my kids. She felt the room shift, all the eyes were now on her. A knot of fear returned, but she pushed through. There are days I pour all my pain onto canvas, and days I paint dreams for tomorrow. It's a mix. Samantha stepped closer, voicing the question that hung in the air. What do you dream for your kids, Maria? The question struck her like a lightning bolt. The dreams weren't just motifs in her art, they were the heartbeat of her existence. I want them to feel safe and loved. I want them to believe they can achieve anything. I want them to know there is beauty even in struggle. The soft murmurs in the gallery swelled into a wave of understanding. It felt like a connection sprinkled with empathy, like she had let them in, and they had invited her spirit to dance, but just as she started to breathe in the warmth, Samantha stepped back. Then we must talk about the next steps. Your art is a part of their legacy, and I need to know it will always be a safe space. That hit hard. The reality was chilling. Could she truly continue to paint her truth in a world fraught with judgment and uncertainty? What if her art wasn't enough? A voice within warned her about hope's fragility. She thought of Lily and Alex outside, still clutching each other, south hands so close. What if this moment shifted everything for them, for all of them? Maria took a step back, firming her resolve. I'll do whatever it takes to keep them safe, even if it means risking it all on these canvases. Just then, the lights flickered overhead, throwing strange shadows across her paintings. The crowd paused, turning toward her, almost as if sensing a shift in the air. Maria, Sam murmured, his own excitement palpable, what if we could do an exhibition dedicated to family resilience? You could showcase each piece with stories attached. Her heart raced again. It could be a doorway, a beacon of hope for others struggling, a chance to transform pain into strength. But what would it cost her? Her heart fluttered, caught between exhilaration and trepidation. What if it connects, but what if it doesn't? The room buzzed with anticipation, the weight of possibilities hanging thick around her. Will this journey open new doors, or will it lead only to heartache? As she pondered the depths of that question, Maria knew one thing: she had to take that leap, even if it meant standing on the edge of everything she feared. The world was watching, and her vision was just beginning to unfold. What awaited her just beyond that threshold? Maria's heart beat rapidly as she processed Sam's suggestion. The idea of an exhibition made her pulse quicken, but it also stirred a mix of fear and longing deep within her. Could her art really resonate that much? Would it strike a chord with other families, or would it expose her vulnerabilities and fears to an audience unworthy of her story? The murmurs from the crowd shifted from excitement to a hush as people leaned in. She could see the love and curiosity in their eyes, and that warmth felt like a protective cloak, wrapping around her insecurities. I think it could work, Maria said finally, finding her voice amidst the noise of doubts. If I'm going to share my reality, I want to do it right. Samantha beamed, a spark of excitement lighting her expression. Then let's start preparing. We can create a narrative that ties each piece to your story and the stories of your children. The prospect filled Maria with a rush of purpose. She needed this. Her art had been her fortress, but now it could become a bridge to others, connecting them in ways she had never imagined possible. Sam took her hand, squeezing it gently. You're not alone in this, Maria. We'll work on the logistics together. Just focus on your pieces and the stories that bring them to life. Okay, Maria replied, her voice barely a whisper, filled with a sudden mixture of fear and elation. What if this was the breakthrough she desperately needed? A chance to turn her struggles into strength, but just as the possibilities stretched before her, a shadow crossed her mind. What if sharing her story would further expose her family to judgment? What if the world didn't understand, or worse, didn't care? She shook her head, trying to clear the thoughts spiraling in her mind. No, she couldn't let fear steal this opportunity. The moment demanded courage, and for the first time, she felt a flicker of determination igniting within her. Let us show them the truth, she said, her voice firmer now, buoyed by a swell of new strength. But first, I need to ensure my kids are completely on board. Samantha nodded, understanding the protective instinct that surged through her. Absolutely. It's vital that they feel comfortable too. Let us invite them in, share the vision before you dive in. Maria smiled, her heart lightening. She glanced towards the large windows of the gallery, where Lily and Alex played just beyond the glass, legs swinging over the edge of a flower-lined bench. The sight of their laughter and shared joy flooded her with warmth. It was these two that kept her grounded, that inspired every stroke of paint on her canvases. Can you call them in? Maria asked, her eyes sparkling with excitement. A few moments later, the children bounded into the gallery, their bright faces a mix of curiosity and joy. Mom! What's happening? Lily's eyes darted around, taking in the vibrant colors and excited adults. I'm going to show everyone my art and our story, Maria explained, feeling a mix of pride and vulnerability. We're going to create something beautiful and meaningful together. Alex tilted his head, a serious expression on his face. Like superheroes? Exactly. Superheroes who face challenges but still find beauty in the world. Maria beamed, her heart swelling. Are you both with me on this? They nodded eagerly, children's enthusiasm contagious. For a moment, Maria felt buoyed by their innocent belief in her, a feeling that pierced through all her fears, warming her spirit. We'll make the best superhero art ever. Lily declared, raising her hands in triumph. The laughter that followed was golden and soothing, wrapping around Maria like a soft embrace. She knew their journey would not be easy, but this moment felt like a turning point. Art could truly be transformative, not just for her, but for her family too. As they huddled together, discussing ideas for the exhibition, Maria's heart thumped with newfound hope. Yet, a whisper in the back of her mind still lingered. Was she ready for this? Outside, the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the gallery, but shadows lingered on the walls. Perhaps she was stepping into the light, but with that came the unsettling notion of stepping away from the darkness she'd known. What challenges awaited them on this new path? Would the truth about their lives prove to be liberating, or would it unearth deeper pains? As the laughter faded, one question engulfed her: would this leap bring the healing she craved, or would it lead them down unfamiliar trails filled with doubt? The vibrant colors in the gallery suddenly seemed more vivid, as if they reflected Maria's inner turmoil. She glanced at the pieces she had poured her heart into, each canvas a whisper of her struggles, fears, and hopes. What if this exhibition exposed everything that she had tried so hard to protect? The thought tightened her chest, but then she looked at her children, their excitement infectious, and her heart softened. Okay, superheroes, Maria said, rallying her courage. Let us brainstorm what our art will say. What do you want people to feel when they see it? Lily put her hands on her hips, a faux serious expression on her face. I want them to feel happy. Like when we play in the park. Alex nodded vigorously. Yeah. And brave like the heroes we read about. They fight scary things but always win. His voice was filled with childlike conviction, and Maria's heart swelled seeing their unwavering spirits. Happy and brave, I love that. She said, excitement bubbling within her. What if we included stories about things that make us happy? Our little victories? The children exchanged glances, their brows furrowed in contemplation. Like the time I helped you paint the sky on that canvas? Lily suggested. Yes. Exactly. And your stories about hiding in the blankets from the thunderstorm, Alex? Maria's voice picked up, her enthusiasm contagious. The kids clapped, their faces aglow with inspiration. Their laughter echoed through the gallery, but beneath it, a quiet tension loomed in Maria's heart. Let us write these down, Maria urged, leading them to a nearby table covered in paper and colorful markers. They began scribbling, their small hands moving quickly, each doodle a testament to their shared experiences. But fear lingered in the corners of Maria's mind. What if the world outside didn't see the beauty they infused into their lives? As they worked, Sam rejoined them, leaning over their table. These are fantastic, kids. You're capturing something special, can't you feel it? Maria looked up at Sam, her heart racing and her thoughts swirling. Do you think people will connect with these stories? Will they understand? Samantha offered a warm smile. Truth has a way of reaching people. Authenticity shines through. You've got this, Maria. You're taking your art to a place where it can create ripples. The words wrapped around Maria like a warm blanket. Her urge to protect her children's innocence wrestled with the desire to share their lives. In that moment, she realized the exhibition wasn't just about showcasing art, but about weaving a narrative that could heal and connect with others. Time slipped by as they laughed and created, but soon the reality of their decision loomed. As they finalized their ideas, Maria's heart began to race. So, should we tell more than just our happy stories? What about the challenges? The tough days? Alex furrowed his brow. But what if people don't like it? Lily grabbed his hand. We have to be brave, right? Our feelings matter. The intensity of the moment washed over Maria. A profound truth emerged: if they could embrace their imperfections and heartaches, maybe others could too. Feeling a surge of empowerment, she whispered, all right then, let us show them everything. Our challenges, our joys, it's all part of us. With the sun setting beyond the gallery windows, casting long shadows that danced against the walls, Maria felt the flicker of hope grow into a roaring flame. She was no longer just a mother or a quiet artist, she was a warrior ready to uncover her truth, but just as she felt prepared, her phone buzzed on the table. It was a message from someone she hadn't heard from in years, an old friend who had a troubling history with the very things Maria was about to expose. With her heart racing, she hesitated, fingers hovering over the screen. What would this message mean for the journey ahead? And how would it affect her family when darkness crept into the light? Maria's heart pounded as she stared at her phone, the message vibrating with unspoken weight. After all these years, why now? She took a deep breath, the air thick with an unsettling mix of anxiety and curiosity. It was as if the universe was challenging her resolve just when she felt ready to step into the light. Mom? What's wrong? Alex's small voice broke through the fog of her thoughts. Maria glanced down at her children, their innocent faces filled with concern. How could she burden them with the shadows of her past? Nothing, sweetie. Just a message from an old friend, she replied, trying to sound casual while her mind raced. Memories surged, fragile moments she had locked away, buried beneath layers of paint and anxiety. As the kids continued to draw, she saw the small but bold strokes of their creativity, their tender expressions a stark contrast to her uncertainty. Hadn't she just advocated for showing their truth? What if this friend, this specter from her past, turned out to be a storm brewing on the horizon? Let us keep going, she said, shaking off the unease. She needed to focus on their exhibition, on what they were creating together. How about we add some more stories? Alex, you told a great story about riding your bike without training wheels. His eyes lit up. Yeah. I felt so brave. Just like a superhero. Yes, exactly. And Lily, what about our trip to the beach? We conquered those big waves. Mom. I almost flipped over. Lily laughed, her eyes sparkling as she recalled the day. True, but you didn't give up. You stood back up and laughed. That's brave, Maria said, feeling a warmth flooding her heart. There was a purity in their memories that shifted her focus, if only for a moment. Okay, so maybe not all stories have to be scary, right? Alex asked, still concerned. Not scary, but real. We can show our strength and resilience in the little things, Maria encouraged, feeling encouraged as she began to reimagine the exhibition. The creativity flowed, and soon they were surrounded by colorful stories, each one reflecting small victories and the joys of family ties. Even when fear crept in about what she might reveal, an electric current of liberation coursed through her veins. Yet, the notification kept tugging at her thoughts like a persistent wind. Finally, she couldn't hold back any longer. Okay, kids, I just need a minute. Let me see what this is about. She opened the message, and instantly, a rush of emotions flooded her: nostalgia, fear, and a hint of anger. The words were inviting but carried a heaviness that tugged at her heart. Maria, I know we haven't spoken in years, but I'm reaching out because I need your help. I've been through a lot and I've changed, but I can't do this alone. Was this a plea for redemption? Or simply a step into the past she had been so desperate to escape? Who's it from? Sam asked, appearing at her side, eyes narrowing in curiosity. A friend from a long time ago, someone I thought I'd left behind, she breathed, casting a quick glance at the kids, engrossed in their creations. She felt a cold chill run down her spine. Do you feel ready to reconcile those ghosts? Sam asked softly, the warmth of understanding evident in her voice. Maria considered the question, her heart caught in a web of fear and hope. Could she really confront her past? And what about her children? Would facing those shadows jeopardize the fragile happiness they were building together? Before she could answer, the gallery door swung open, and a familiar face stepped in, unexpected and electrifying. Maria. I'm so glad to see you. The voice echoed through the space, and Maria felt her breath catch in her throat, instantly transformed by a twirling tempest of emotions. What did this person want? Would this be the support or the storm she feared? Reality morphed into uncertainty as hope and dread intertwined. And as she stood there, frozen in time, the future of their exhibition and her family hung delicately in the balance. Maria's heart raced as she recognized the voice. It was Sarah, her childhood friend, the one she had shared secrets with and the one who had drifted into the shadows of time. Memories of laughter, tears, and late-night confessions swirled within her like a storm. Sarah, Maria finally managed, her voice barely above a whisper. The warmth of their past clashed with the coldness of her recent doubts. She took a step forward, instinctively seeking out the brightness of their shared history. Wow, it's been what, a decade? Sarah smiled, but Maria could see the weight of her journey in her eyes. There was something deeper there, something almost haunting. Yeah, a long time, Maria replied, her voice steadier now. She caught a glimpse of Sam, who watched closely, ready to support her. I got your message, she said. The vulnerability in her own words hung heavy in the air. What's going on, Sarah? Why now? Sarah's expression turned serious. She sighed, as if the burden was too heavy to carry alone. I know it's been ages, but I just didn't know who else to ask. I've made some choices I regret. And I need help. Can we talk? She glanced at the kids, still lost in their creative world, painting their future with innocent strokes. Maria felt a surge of protectiveness. Could this friend, bearing the weight of her past troubles, come crashing into the peaceful life they were building? Maybe we should sit down, Sam suggested, sensing Maria's hesitation. You don't have to decide anything right now. Maria nodded slowly. Her heart wanted to leap into action, to welcome this friendship back into her life, yet fear held her still. What if Sarah's struggles were more than she could handle? They moved to a small table surrounded by the paintings that adorned the walls of the gallery, colorful testimonies of bravery and laughter. The space felt vibrant, filled with creativity, yet the atmosphere between the three women was dense with unspoken tension. "Thank you for hearing me out," Sarah began as she settled into her chair. "I've really hit rock bottom. I've gone through a tough time, addiction, loss. I'm finally trying to pull myself back up, but I need someone who knows me. I came here hoping that you could, maybe, help me find my way." Maria's mind raced. She thought about the pain and fear of the past that still haunted her, the remnants of a time she didn't want to revisit. Yet, here was Sarah, reaching out, desperate for support. "I get it," Maria said slowly, her heart breaking for her old friend. "But do you really think I'm the right person to help you after everything?" "I wouldn't ask if I didn't believe it," Sarah insisted, her voice trembling with emotion. "You've always been the strongest person I know. And I know I messed up, but I'm ready to face it now." Maria felt the room around them fade. She wanted to run, to escape from the memories that clawed at her. Could she really take the leap and help someone else rise from their struggles when her own path remained so fragile? Just then, a broad grin spread across Alex's face as he shouted, "Look, Mom! I painted a superhero." He held it up proudly, sparkles of imagination glimmering in the childlike masterpiece. "Maybe this is our superhero moment," Maria thought, her heart beating louder in her chest. Could she be that symbol of hope, not just for her children, but for Sarah as well? The thought sent a shiver down her spine. Was she ready to embrace this turmoil? As the tension hung thick in the room, Sarah's eyes searched for something, perhaps forgiveness, perhaps a spark of the friendship they once had. Maria inhaled deeply, her decision resting on the precipice of the moment. Would she step into the storm, ready to fight alongside her friend? And in that breath, she knew an answer was coming, one that would shape not only her future but the future of her children and the fragile family they were building together. "Let us talk." With those words hanging in the air, the path before Maria unfolded, leading her towards uncharted territory. Would she find healing in sharing her struggle, or would the weight of the past drown her anew? The conversation hung in the air, heavy and pulsing with the weight of the unspoken. Maria looked into Sarah's eyes, searching for the girl she once knew. The years had aged them both, marking their lives with experiences that deepened their characters. Yet, here they were, facing each other again, on the brink of something unknown. "I've missed you," Sarah said softly, breaking the silence. "I've missed this." "Yeah, me too," Maria replied, her heart aching with nostalgia. It felt both comforting and daunting to reconnect. "But it's different now. I have a family to think about." "I understand," Sarah breathed, her gaze drifting toward the kids painting nearby. "But I can't keep falling. I've lost almost everything. I don't want to lose what's left, and I want to do better." Maria felt a pang of recognition. How many times had she grappled with her own fears of losing everything she had fought to build? It was a mirror of her own struggles, reflected back in this friend. "Tell me what I can do." "Just start from the beginning," Maria urged gently. She was stepping in, ready to listen, ready to understand. Sarah exhaled deeply, pulling herself together. "It started when I lost my job. I thought I could handle it, but then things spiraled. I lost touch with everyone. I fell into old routines that only made it worse. I thought I could control it, but I couldn't." Maria listened intently, her heart breaking for the friend she once adored. She felt waves of compassion and regret for letting time and distance separate them. "You're here now," she said, attempting to lighten the weight in the air. "That's what matters. You're reaching out. That's brave." "Brave or stupid," Sarah muttered with a shaky laugh, trying to mask the pain. Maria could see how hard it was for her, the emotional battle waging inside. "What do you think you need most right now?" Maria asked, opening the door to more dialogue. "I need to find a way to live again. I want to be the person I used to be before," Sarah replied, her voice steadying with resolve. "But I need guidance. I need support, I don't want pity. I want a friend. Maria stared at her, taking in the raw vulnerability. Something deep within her began to awaken. A desire to reconnect, not just for Sarah's sake, but for her own. I can help. I don't have all the answers, but I can listen, Maria said, feeling the weight on her heart blood with hope, the kind of hope that could pave a lonely road back to friendship. Just then, Alex ambled over with a masterpiece in hand, his eyes bright. Mom. I want to paint Sarah too. Can I? Sarah's face softened as she gazed at the innocent joy radiating from the child. Maria could see hope igniting in her friend's eyes as she knelt to Alex's level. That's a wonderful idea. I would love to be painted. In that moment, something shifted. It felt like the first warm rays of sunlight cutting through a winter storm. The laughter of the children filled the gallery, stitching a new bond of friendship amidst the cracks of the past. Hours melted away as they began to talk and laugh, sharing stories that danced between pain and joy, past and present. Each word exchanged seemed to mend a little thread connecting their lives. But lingering doubts festered in Maria's mind. What if Sarah's journey to recovery pulled her into darkness too? Could she handle the weight of Sarah's struggles along with her own fears? As they wrapped up the conversation, Sarah looked at Maria, her eyes glistening with renewed hope. Thank you for believing in me, she whispered. Let us take it one day at a time, Maria replied, her heart still uncertain yet resolute. Little did she know, the struggle ahead would not only test their rekindled friendship but would also unearth hidden truths that both were not prepared for. As Sarah left, Maria watched the door close slowly behind her. She could sense a storm brewing not just within Sarah, but within her own heart too. What would they both face next in this journey back to themselves? The inkling of foreboding settled into her chest, and she realized she was standing on the edge of something much bigger than either of them anticipated. Was she prepared to uncover the battles that lay ahead, not just for Sarah, but for herself as well? The days turned into weeks, and with each sunrise, the gallery became more than just a space for Maria's art, it became a haven, a vibrant sanctuary of healing. Maria poured herself into her paintings, each stroke a testament to resilience. She began to weave her and Sarah's stories into the fabric of her art. It was a cathartic release, each canvas transforming into a map of their struggles and triumphs. Lily and Alex became her biggest cheerleaders, filling the air with laughter as they splashed colors and emotions freely onto their own mini canvases. They loved to share their creations during community gatherings, showcasing not just their skills, but also their journey of family reclaiming their narrative. Every time Sarah stopped by, their connection deepened. Maria found herself opening up about her past and her fears, and as she did, Sarah reflected her own battles too often hidden beneath shame. They laughed, cried, and most importantly, they listened. Sarah admitted to Maria, I know my past doesn't define me, but sometimes those shadows creep back in. It's like climbing a mountain and then seeing another peak ahead that feels higher than the last. Maria nodded in profound understanding. She felt that same weight each day. Then came the day of the big exhibition. Excitement mixed with anxiety fluttered in Maria's stomach as she paced around the empty gallery, preparing for the swarm of visitors. Each piece hung like a guardian of their stories, buzzing with energy. She glanced at the bright sunflowers that graced her largest canvas, the symbol of her hope and resilience, and felt a surge of strength. Just moments before the doors opened, Sarah arrived, breathless but radiant. I got here as fast as I could, she exclaimed, a spark of joy illuminating her features. Maria grinned. In the weeks of their renewed friendship, Sarah had revealed her determination to change, a determination that now shone bright in her eyes. As people filtered in, their voices melded into a chorus of admiration. Maria's heart soared as she heard the guests' oh and ah over the vibrant colors and heartfelt stories. When viewers paused to read her captions, they saw slivers of truth, moments of joy intertwined with pain, light softened by shadows. Then, in the corner of the gallery, Maria spotted the familiar figure of the social worker, Samantha, a clipboard in hand but a warm smile on her face. Maria felt her chest tighten for a moment, uncertain of how the scrutiny would unfold. Yet as she stepped forward to greet Samantha, she was met not with judgment, but genuine interest. "Maria," Samantha said softly, "your art speaks volumes about love, resilience, and the journey that truly matters. It's evident how hard you've fought for your family." The warmth in Samantha's voice unlocked a wave of relief within Maria. "Thank you," Maria replied, her voice steady. "It's everything I've faced, transformed into something beautiful. It's my light pushing back against the shadows." Again, Maria caught a glimpse of her children, playing and laughing together, their innocent joy lighting up the room. In that moment, surrounded by supportive friends and now guided by an understanding heart, she realized she had done the most important work of all. She had created a community rooted in truth. After the presentation, Maria stood nervously, facing a room full of curious eyes. She took a breath and spoke, "Today, I wanted to show you that our struggles don't define us, they mold us, they lead us to our truest forms." The assembled crowd listened, enraptured by her words. "With my artwork, I hope you see the possibility of resilience, the value of vulnerability, and the strength found in our connections." Lily and Alex stood beside her, clasping her hands tightly. Maria could feel the love radiating from them, shielding her from any remaining concerns. Sarah beamed proudly, her own presence a testament to change. Maria shared their journey one brushstroke at a time, weaving laughter, love, and shared sorrow into the narrative of their lives. By the exhibition's end, the gallery buzzed with conversations, reflections, and newfound connections. Families were sharing their stories and inspiring one another, the walls echoing with words of hope. Maria felt a sense of catharsis washing over her, like the first warm rays of spring thawing winter's chill. Stepping outside, the sun dipped low in the sky, painting the horizon in hues of pink and gold. She turned to Sarah, who said, "I'm proud of us. This is just the beginning." Maria smiled, feeling the weight of the world slip from her shoulders. Together, they embraced the next chapter as warriors, paintbrushes in hand, each day another canvas waiting to be completed. Maria realized they wouldn't always be perfect, but their resilience and connection would guide them. With shadows beneath their feet and hope in their hearts, they were ready to rise together. Now was the moment to embrace the journey ahead, to paint not just their own futures, but to encourage others to pick up their brushes and join in. You need to subscribe now to follow the next inspiring stories that will uplift and transform lives. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and show your support. Comment below how the journey inspired you, and share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to feel this spark of hope. Don't wait not even one more second to share. Let's spread the power of resilience together.